Welcome back to Elizabeth Plants. I'm Elizabeth and today we are finally, I know I really put this video off, but we are finally going to be doing a Leca video. So I am going to be putting this guy back into Leca. He did a lot better in Leca, and the baby plant that I stuck at the bottom and the reason they are in dirt really didn't transition well. So we're just going to put him back in Leca, and I thought I would bring you along with me for this ride. So the first thing I'm going to have to do is take him out of the dirt and rinse off the roots. I want to get as much dirt as possible off of the roots. Hold on, my cat. Come on, dude. He knows he's not allowed on my desk. But I'm going to get all of the dirt off the roots as much as I can, pull off any maybe old rotted roots. I don't think there are any in there, but if there are, I'm going to do that. I'm going to cut off any dead leaves or any dead branches or anything like that, and just kind of clean them up and get them prepared to go into Leca, and then I will take you through the steps after that. Now that we have completely rinsed out the roots to the best of our ability without doing too much damage, I lost maybe a little bit of root. I couldn't tell if it was old rotted root or if it was nice new root, but I did lose a little bit of root. But that's just gonna happen sometimes. But now that we've completely rinsed out the roots, we can get to kind of my cat needs help. All right, I'm back. I don't remember where I left off, what I was saying, but I got up to help my cat, and then I had to take a break because my cat knocked down half of my greenhouse. So I took like an hour, and now we're back. I don't remember what I was saying, so we're just gonna jump into it and hope that I didn't miss something. But what I've got with me is I've got my pH balanced water. I've got a self-watering pot that I will be using. And then I have got Leca that is pre-rinsed. So I rinsed this before bringing it in here. And I'm leaving that on the floor because it is wet and I don't want that all over my desk where I put my laptop and stuff. But first let's start with the pot. So I am choosing to use a self-watered pot. I actually got this pot for my herbs, but as it turns out, it sucks for soil plants. I do not recommend a self-watering pot where you cannot pull out this piece when there is stuff on it or in it, because then it might as well just be a pot with no drainage. But I'm thinking that it may work better for Leca, so we're going to give it a shot. Either way, Leca is easier to pull out of a pot than dirt or soil is. So we're going to be using this. It was just a cheap one that I got on Amazon. If you want to know where I got it, I am by no means recommending it yet, but I will have it linked down below. It's just kind of a white pot in the style that I prefer, and then it's got this piece which I had to put together, but this is the floater that lets me know where the water is below this platform that sits about an inch up off the bottom. So only about this much of the space is for the plant, which is okay because we don't have very deep roots here, unfortunately. But, so this is the pot I will be using. And then Leca, I rinsed it thoroughly. Some people claim they like to soak their Leca in water. I don't care to do that. I don't have a good reason. I just don't care to. So if that's something you would prefer to do, I recommend you do that. But I didn't. I just rinsed it, and this is probably like the third time this Leca's been used, rinsed. And then what I have here is pH balanced water. So the water in my apartment is naturally really close to pH balance. I don't really have to do much. I do maybe like a drop of pH down. So if you're not sure what I'm talking about, the pH testing kit that I put in the description down below is the one that I used. Essentially, I test the pH of the water, and I believe, I haven't actually tested the water in a long time because I'm just familiar with where my pH is, but I believe like 6.5 is good for houseplants, but I recommend reading the labeling on the package or Googling it really quick. But I believe it said so on my packaging. This is pH balanced. I put 1 drop of down in for my water needs. Your water needs are probably different. I have done Leca without pH balancing, but again, my water is so close to balanced anyways that I think that my situation may be a little bit different than yours. I balanced it this time because I happen to know that this plant, last time I had it living in Leca, it responded really well to perfectly pH balanced. So I'm going to do that again because it worked, so why not? This time, instead of just having the main plant, I do have a piece of the subscription box plant that came in. What I had done when this guy came in, he had 4 different branches, and I wanted to combine them with this, so I transported them to soil together. And this guy did fine. He grew a little bit. They got underwatered once, but he's grown a little bit. He hasn't really dropped off much with the exception of when I underwatered him. However, this guy completely toasted. This is the only branch that is left of 4, and they toasted pretty quickly. So not too sure, but this is what we've got, and I'm fine with it. So what I am going to do is I'll pull this out so I can show you. So inside of the pot, I'm going to fill the Leca about, what is that, like 1.5 inches, 2 inches above this basin before I put the plant in. All right, so you can see it there. I've completely covered the black part at the bottom, the tray, if you will, at the bottom, with Leca up to about here, which is about that far up from the tray. The reason I am doing this is because I do not want the roots to sit in water. If you are not familiar with the Leca process at all, it's a semi-hydroponic, and essentially the Leca, which are clay balls, again, link in the description. Everything will be in the description. But the Leca kind of wicks up the water to the roots, and the roots suck up only the water that they need instead of sitting in soil. Some of the benefits are some plants do better. I've found that any plant I have that is struggling, so far I've tried quite a few. if I stick them in Leca for a while, they recoup. Similar to like if you put a cutting in water, but a little bit different. So that's a benefit. Another benefit is bugs that like to breed and munch on your soil don't really exist in this situation because there is no soil. So that's another benefit. However, bugs that feed on the leaves will still be a problem if they were a problem before. So anyways, I've put that much Leca in, and now I'm going to put the plant in. I'm going to sit them right on top of that Leca, and then, and mine's kind of crooked, my plant is. I'm going to get a little bamboo stake because I do want to try and train them up straight. So I've got this bamboo stick, and if you are putting a plant in Leca that would prefer a moss pole, you can absolutely use a moss pole the same way I'm about to use the bamboo stick. This plant I just don't think necessarily would benefit from a bamboo stick, so I'm not going to waste my time making one or my money buying one. But so I'm going to situate this guy in here with the bamboo stake down the center. I'm going to kind of shove it into the Leca there. Awesome. Now I'm going to fill the rest of the base with Leca. So something you're going to notice when I show you this in a second is that my Leca also has some small pebbles and fish stones in amongst it. I didn't realize they were in the same bucket and they got mixed together, and I really don't think it's going to be that big of a deal because this is mostly Leca anyways. So I'm not too concerned. If you were concerned, you could pick out all the other rocks, but I'm not going to spend my time picking out all the other rocks. So I will show you this. We're filled up to the top, but I can still see the watering label. Before I go any further, I'm going to kind of tap the side of the pot on, or tap it on the desk to make sure all of the Leca settles and that I've got enough in there. And then I'm going to get some plant Velcro and Velcro this guy up. And I guess I probably should have mentioned this at the beginning, but this is a Schefflera or umbrella plant. Awesome. So he's tied up straight, and he seems to be as secure as he's gonna get in there. So obviously the final step is the water. Now if you are using a different type of non-self-watering pot, for example, grab my Gloriosum. If you were using like a clear pot of some sort, you'd want to fill the Leca at the bottom about maybe 1/3 the way up, approximately, and then you do not want to fill the water any higher than that. You do not want the roots sitting in water. So for my self-watering pot, I will be, because I just tested, I want the red floater in between this second gold line and this bottom gold line. Otherwise, it goes too far above the black base in there, the tray, and I know that the roots are about 1 inch above the tray. So if I go any higher than this top gold line, the roots will be in water. But if I do not go above this bottom gold line, the water won't be above the black tray, and I want it to be above the black tray about 1/2 inch to 1 inch. So I'm going to pour my balanced water over top of the Leca, kind of all around like I would if I was watering soil, just so that the roots get some water while they adjust to the Leca. Alright, so I got a little overzealous. The red thing is floating kind of right at the second yellow line, so I definitely won't be watering this guy for a while, but I think he's okay. I think that that'll be fine. But I really did not use a ton of water. I've got most of my water still here. So with that being said, that is how I transport my plants into Leca. I happen to know this guy will do very well and will likely drop very few leaves. However, I have already put this specific plant in Leca before. So I know he handles it very well. I'll expect maybe a leaf drop or two. Otherwise, he should be doing okay. Your plant may take some more time to adjust. You may have some leaf drop or some stunted growth, and that's okay so long as your plant doesn't look like it's, like if you're worried, I recommend checking on the roots, making sure that they are A, getting water, and B, not sitting in water. Some plants just don't like Leca, and that's okay. We don't know until we try sometimes. So with that being said, what are my next steps? Now, this guy is going to just chill like he is right now until I see that the water at the bottom is all the way down, so that there's no water reaching the Leca. In that case, I will, if I am worried at all, last time I didn't have to do it with this guy. Some people say you should do it with all plants. I'm a little bit of not a helicopter parent at all and a little bit lazy. I will not be taking him out, checking the roots, and then repotting him. However, some people prefer to do it that way, say that you should do it that way. If you would like to be safe, absolutely. Once your water runs dry, pull it out, check on the roots, put it back in. I will, however, in the next watering, be adding some fertilizer. So get yourself a hydroponic fertilizer. There are a couple that I like that are in the description box below. Super Thrive. I want to say it's called Bloom. I'm not 100% sure on that. It's in the description box below, but I will be, according to the package, fertilizing this guy in the next watering. And about every other watering until the growing season's over, and then maybe like once in the winter, maybe. Depending on how I see this guy doing. But if you have any comments down below about how I do Leca or how you do Leca, how other people you know do Leca, let's keep those comments very kind and not assume anything of one another, because nobody does anything the same as another person does it. And a lot of the time, most of the time, that is okay. The way I did Leca for this plant and for my plants works for me. However, I have different water and a different environment than you do. So my way may not work for you, and you may do something different. That does not make my way wrong. So let's be mindful that different is okay in our comments down below. However, this works for me, and it would be phenomenal if it works for you. If you have any questions, maybe I forgot something, so put it in the comments down below if I did, and I'll answer all the questions down below. If you have any, let me know what plants you have in Leca, what plants you'd like to try in Leca. Is there a plant that you put in Leca and you're like, no go, do not put this plant in Leca? Let us know. I've only tried philodendron, the Schefflera, philodendron and Schefflera. I've only tried those. So I'm only familiar with those. I believe maybe a pothos. I can't remember. So let me know down in the comments down below all of those things. Like this video if you like planty content. If you want to see more Leca content, let me know. And I will see you next time.